All right, let's talk about the future of work. It's a topic that's just swimming in buzzwords, right? Big promises, a lot of hype. Our job today? To cut right through all that noise.
You know, the pressure on business leaders right now is it's intense. It feels like every single day there's some new technology, some new strategy that's supposed to revolutionize everything. The real challenge isn't just trying to keep up, it's figuring out what's actually going to work.
And that's the big question, isn't it? How do you tell the difference between a truly groundbreaking innovation that's going to define our future and just another overinflated promise that's going to fizzle out?
So we're going to dig into some solid research to build a clear, practical roadmap. Think of this as your guide for navigating the super complex world of workforce transformation.
So let's start with the really exciting stuff, the big vision for the future. The technologies that promise to completely change how we get things done.
First up is something called cognitive offloading. Now, the idea here is to hand off those really complex, multi-step tasks to an AI. Think of all that tedious data analysis or report building. This isn't about replacing people, it's about freeing up their brain power for the stuff that really matters, like creativity and big-picture strategy. Gartner sees this as a huge benefit, but, we're still probably about 5 to 10 years away from it being everywhere.
Next, we've got the AI avatar. This sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie, right? Imagine creating a digital version of your best salesperson to handle initial client calls, or a virtual CEO to deliver consistent training all around the world. It's a powerful idea for sure, but the tech is still very new. We're talking less than 1% of the market is even using it today.
And if you thought that was futuristic, get ready for the digital twin of the employee. This is way out there. It's a dynamic, virtual model of an employee that can simulate how they might react in different situations. You could use it to optimize workflows or even predict burnout before it happens. The potential is massive, but honestly, this technology is still in its infancy. We're likely more than a decade away from seeing it widely used.
So, what do these incredible ideas all have in common? Well, right now, they're all sitting at what Gartner calls the peak of inflated expectations. That means there's a ton of excitement, a ton of hype, but we are still a long, long way from these being everyday tools in our offices.
Okay, so let's hit the brakes on that future vision for a second and come back down to earth. What's the reality on the ground? What tech are companies actually spending their money on today, and what headaches are they dealing with?
So where is the money really going? Well, it's going into the foundational stuff. The market for warehouse management systems, or WMS, hit $3 billion in 2024. This is where the real work, the real investment is happening right now.
And here's the classic disconnect. While all the marketing promises an AI-driven revolution, the reality for these systems is way more pragmatic. It's not about a total revolution, it's about optimization, making the things we already do just a little bit faster, a little bit smarter, and more efficient.
But wow, getting even that optimization is incredibly hard. Companies are navigating a total minefield of problems. You've got cybersecurity risks on old systems, super confusing pricing models, and a lot of vendors who, believe it or not, still haven't fully moved to the cloud. And one of the biggest nightmares is just getting these things up and running. Projects are almost always late. You plan for an 8-month go-live, and it easily stretches to 12 months, sometimes even longer for really complex sites. And those delays? They create this huge ripple effect on budgets, on your return on investment, on everything.
So we've got this futuristic vision on one hand and this messy, complicated reality on the other. How does all this affect the most important part of the equation? The people. Let's talk about the new talent equation.
Because the workforce itself is going through a massive change. Just look at this. Over a third of all workers in the US are now independent. We're talking freelancers, contractors, gig workers. This isn't some small niche anymore. This is a huge strategic part of the talent pool.
And you can't manage this growing workforce with spreadsheets and emails anymore. It needs a whole new playbook and the right technology. There's a full life cycle here, from figuring out what you need and finding the right person, all the way through onboarding them, managing their work, and of course, getting them paid.
And to manage all of your talent, both traditional and independent, the whole focus is shifting away from job titles and towards skills. AI-powered skills management lets companies see in real time what their people are capable of. It gets you beyond rigid job descriptions to a more dynamic, flexible understanding of what your workforce can actually do. And that is absolutely critical for staying agile.
And finally, we absolutely cannot forget about the majority of the workforce, our frontline employees.
These are the folks in retail, in manufacturing, in healthcare, who are so often left behind by new tech. They are facing incredible stress and burnout. So there's this growing push for what's called EX tech, technology designed specifically for them. We're talking apps for better communication, flexible scheduling, and just general well-being.
Okay, so we've looked at the hype, we've looked at the tough realities, and we've talked about the human element. How do we put all of this together into a strategy that actually works? Let's map out the path forward.
And this really is the key takeaway. Winning the future of work isn't about having the flashiest AI avatar. It's about building a strategy that's balanced, one that's both ambitious and practical, technological, and, most importantly, deeply human.
So what does that roadmap look like in practice? Well, it means you have to connect that long-term futuristic vision with the messy reality of getting things done day to day. It means you need to design work around people, not around office buildings. It means investing in a talent strategy that's built on skills, not on rigid job titles. And finally, you have to make sure your tech investments are improving the experience for everybody, from the corner office to the warehouse floor, from your full-time staff to your freelance partners.
So I'll just leave you with this final question to think about. The world of work is only going to get more complex from here. The only way you're going to thrive is to build a strategy that's ready for that complexity, one that can consistently separate the real, valuable signal from all that distracting noise.